Good evening, everyone, and welcome. Could we bow our heads as we have prayer, please? Thank you. Loving God, it's such a blessing that you have brought us together like this. We have come from near and far, and we thank you for traveling mercies. Father, we invite you into our midst this evening and ask that you bless each and every one here. May our experience be as such that we can share, we have joy abundantly, oh God. So many have gone on from this group. So much so we count it a blessing to be here. So Father, come into our midst and help us to feel your presence and have fun and enjoy the gift of being present with each other. And when we would have left this place, may we go with the joy that we got from being here. We pray that you be with the presenters, bless them, and may the words that we hear this evening be words that will help us on our journey going forward. We thank you, we give you praise. And when we would have left here this evening, we ask that you give us traveling mercies to get back to where each and every one is heading. Is our prayer in the wonderful name of Jesus. Amen, amen, and amen.
Can everybody please have their seats? I call on Mr. Anthony James. To do the occasion why we all here.
Good evening, one and all. Excuse my voice. This is such a beautiful sight. To see Mr. Ryan. I don't know if you all remember this look. I must say, this is pleasing to the sight to see everyone's here. First of all, I must say it was Yvette's idea since 2010 to have this. And I have been putting it off and finally decided to come through it. I also must welcome some of my teachers like Miss Smart. Mr. Ryan couldn't do what he's doing without his wife. Roger, who was a little tough, now he's bigger than me. My good friend, Lauren, the fighter. Dunstan the Hubs. This is beautiful. Miss Otley, You may not have known the reputation of some of my colleagues, but when I see a fellow like Mr. Thomas, I give him his accolades. Mr. Thomas. My good friend, his wife, Patty, is here. And I am saying, it is not often we meet. And I am hoping that we enjoy this afternoon. There are great things in plans, in store, and we hope that we can actually come together and put our heads together and have some more fun. But as we go forward, we do everything with God behind us. All right? Ms. Peters, it's nice seeing you again, even though you're always late. It's all right. Miss Smart, Miss Chance, she could be silent, but she's deadly. She could be silent but deadly. I see my good friend Agnes and Mr. Murray. But remind me of the days as I called Mr. Murray about the dust bowl. My good friend, my opening pace bowler, Mr. Murray. You break up all the people window. It wasn't me. Wasn't me. So as we go forward this afternoon, I must say enjoy, and everyone will have an opportunity to express themselves like we would like to interact. And I must say thank you all for coming.
Ladies and gentlemen, the floor is open for a short while. We want to do it as people go along. For somebody to say something about the step. Something must have moved you in Harmons. You must have been proud of something that happened in your life. Even the flogging that you get from Mr. Ryan, talk about it. So, the floor is open for anybody who wants to say something about itself, all right? Don't be shy, come on. Yes, please. Somebody must have something to say, or do I have to call somebody? Like I have to give Mr. Ryan the mic to call somebody? They go move, I can tell you that. Oh, here comes Mr. Murray.
Good afternoon to everyone. Sir Ryan, Mr. Ryan, Mrs. Ryan, sorry, and then Miss Smart. Pleased to see you. And all of our classmates from near and far, from the UK, from the USA, and so far in Trinidad. Welcome home. Welcome home, Harmonites. I have been grieving for you for 40 years. Make some noise. I'm happy. And if you're happy, celebrate with me. I am very, very happy. I was very happy for the Harmon experience. Remember sitting in the auditorium with a very eloquent speaker, very evident glasses, some tough and stinging words of discipline in the person of Mr. Ryan and the other teachers at different times. Those are moments I will always remember. And so, the strictness of uniform, and those who used to want to run away on a Friday evening from chapel, you know yourself, I did it once, and I was caught. I was caught, but you know, circumstances kind of like got the better of me. We used to have to catch real trouble in PTSD to get a bus to go to Charlottesville on a Friday evening. And that's what forced me to take the chance to get down to the bus terminus to catch a 12 o'clock bus, otherwise you're not reaching home until 8 o'clock in the night. So I hope that justified my escape. And then sometime after that, I don't know whose idea it was, but Mr. Philip, right? He was managing a process that if you want to leave on a Friday early, you must get a pass. And I got my pass on one of those Friday evenings, went down to the bus terminus, sitting quietly waiting for my bus. And here comes Mr. Inspector Philip, walking around and checking all the students to ensure that they got their pass to leave the school on a Friday afternoon. That is a wonderful moment I really, really remember. But best of all, academic education and the Christian education. The chapel on a Friday used to be great. So those are wonderful moments I've had. Also, the Dust Bowl. What we used to call the Dust Bowl was our cricketing ground. That was the Lords of Harmons. The Lord's cricket ground. Yeah? And we have a gentleman who, from the Dust Bowl, graduated to the national cricket team. Anybody knows him? What's his name? Mr. Anthony James, the previous speaker. All right, so wonderful, wonderful moments, really, really wonderful. Those days cannot come back. Those times are past. So let us cherish the memories and cherish those of us who are here today. Bless God that we continue to be in perfect health and strength and moving on and coaching others, those who are coming up, you know, following us. So thank God for all the moments and all the people. Bless God.
There must be somebody else who Harmon High School have done something for. And someone feel like I have to start to call name Mr. Darlington. Not like I have to do it like this.
Dr. Rupert Ryan and his wife, by two doctors, Mrs. Smart Granderson, all the other teachers, the class of 1980, those from far afield, those from here right in Tobago. My heart is filled with great joy and philanthropy to be here on this auspicious occasion. Now, Dr. Rupert Ryan was, in my opinion, a phenomenal principal. We have had principals at Harmon, but he was easily, in my opinion, the best. And I would say, after we got that Harmon experience at Harmon, it didn't stop there. I went into the fire service, and some of my supporters were some of the teachers from school. When I looked to the right, I saw Dr. Ryan and his wife clapping Darlington on the side. But you know, I'm emotional. When I reflect on the good days, tears start coming down my face. Tears of joy. To see that the support was not only in school, but after school. And even after that, I spent 33 years in the Trinidad and Tobago Fire Service. I did an exam from the Institution of Fire Engineers in 1986. Follow me carefully. When they heard that Darlington, a probationer, had passed that exam, they said, well, he wanted this man, he wanted to be chief. And they start saying all negative things. Let me see now, if he passed that international exam and he does the probation exam and he fails, what they will do with him. You all don't know, you know. I stood in my shoes and I wondered. Well, no, you had to study harder now, eh? Because you passed an exam from England and you had to hit the things with a local exam. When they start the exam, bam, register. And it took me years after that. We were bypassed in the job for promotion at one time. We took them to court. But when I see that my money starts going down, I said, Dunstan, you went to Harmon. I said, put the case to the Most High God. Lo and behold, after my 33 years, a chief fire officer called me on my phone, my personal phone. Boss, you're holding back my promotion. I said, sir, how am I holding back your promotion? He said to me, you haven't signed your document. I said, well, sir, with due respect, I cannot sign something that I haven't seen my scores. So he told me my scores. He said, if I send it up, would you sign? I said, very well, sir. He sent it up. It was 88 out of 100. I signed. And lo and behold, somebody with 84 and 86 was promoted ahead of me. Wow. But the final analysis, I acted in the rank of FWSO, that is charged for 8 years. Haven't been paid, and just on the verge of going on pre-retirement, I was confirmed in the rank FWSO. Praise and thank to the Lord. Sometimes people think that they have your future in hand, but the future is in the hand of the Most High God. Right? I learned so many things from Harmon. Harmon was an experience. And even though I didn't have an avalanche of subjects, it taught me a lot. When I went into the service, you know what, I did dangerous gases and chemistry. I was at Crown Point Fire Station, and when we come up in town, they said the university come to town. You used to call Crown Point the university, because they say all we have to do is time to study. We're not doing any drills and what have you. Anyhow, the competition was stiff, and I attribute all that success to the Harmon experience. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't want to talk for too long because I know others would like to come up. But I could not forget that experience. And let me touch on something. In 2013, I had a condition, diverticulitis. Lo and behold, who rescued Darlington again? Harmonites. Deanne Simon, stand please. Was a nurse at the hospital. Yvette Hernandez. And let me tell you something. The situation was so critical that they said to some of my colleagues, gentlemen, Officer Darlington might make it. Who are they to say I would make it? Anyhow, there was a woman, I think she was a janitor. She came close to my bed and she commented, how so many black ants around this bed? You know, well, it's like an omen. Like this person is about to go. However, I had a dream. A guy who had come to pray for me the day before, I dreamt he came in the dream. And he said, son, Psalm 87 is a psalm I accustomed saying. When I was completed saying the psalm, he shook his head like that. Lo and behold, bear with me. If I'm going too long, Mr. James, just signal to me. Yes. So I'm saying this psalm, not articulating it. I'm saying it right here. And a nurse at the side of me turned around, and her eyes went wild. My whole skin raised. I said, what is this? Anyhow, that came and passed. Some time ago, between the operations, I did 2 operations. One to install the colostomy bag, and the next one to remove it. But between operations, I went and got baptized in the Seventh-day Adventists. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, the Seventh-day Adventists. Lo and behold, when I came out of the water, it's the same nurse that looked at me. She came and she hugged me. She said to me, Dunstan, I am here to do the same thing like you. Get baptized. I've never seen anything like that. And for 10 years, it's 10 years now, I haven't seen that girl, that lady after. You see, sometimes things happen to you and you don't know. That was a spiritual encounter. I never experienced anything like that. Now remember, I didn't articulate it, I was saying the psalm right here. And what I want to tell each and every one, whether you say the psalm out loud or here, same result, same power. That's what I'll be able to deduce by that. Having said that, I don't want to stay too long because I know someone else would want to come up. Right? So I want to say thank you to Dr. Ryan for his support. Not only as a principal, but as a person. Because he came out into the community, into Tobago, and he supported his students very well. And you know, our next man that would have done very well is a fellow by the name of Gilbert Peterson. QC Gilbert Peterson. I'll never forget him in school. I've never seen a handwriting so neat. I don't know if he could write so right now. It was a neat handwriting. And we have had people like Patty Howe Thomas. She went away and she excelled in the army. 22 years. Listen, the status she reaches, major. She needs a round of applause. And many other people who would have gotten masters and PhD. I understand Mr. James told me that we have one that is a professor at UWI. And next round of applause, Earl Edwards. So you see, I was wondering why Dr. Ryan called that the Harmon experience. But Harmon was really an experience that you could not afford to fail. Failure was not an option. Okay? So Dr. Ryan and all the other teachers who attended to us, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Darlington. Is anybody else willing to say something? Patty, how about you? I'll bring the mic for you.
Good evening, everyone. Since Yvette wants to put me on the spot, one thing that I will remember going through at Harmons, I got in trouble, as innocent as I used to look. and still look. I got in trouble and had to go to Mr. Ryan's office. And while I was in there, he was talking to me and I was staring him dead in the face. And he said to me, "You have a bold stare." I said, "Yes, Mr. Ryan." I said, "In Pathfinders, they told us we have to keep a level eye." So he couldn't say anything after that. But my experience at Harmons was really a good one. Everybody around here I've dealt with in one way or another. And I just want to say thanks to you guys for all that you've done. Even seeing me in a wheelchair and assisting yesterday, you know, y'all coming forward and helping me. I really appreciate that. And I know that only speaks volumes because of the background that we've had from Harmons High School. So thanks to everyone. Thanks to our teachers, Ms. Olet Smart, Mr. Ryan and his wife, Roger A. Ryan. And that's an inside joke with Roger and myself. So, you know, I just want to say thank you. And just to say thank you to my husband for his support as well.
Thank you very much. I'm not going very far from you.
Good afternoon, everybody. I don't like to be put on the spot like that, but I had one experience with Mr. Ryan, and up to this day, I made a pledge that if I saw him, I was going to punch him in the face. But I changed that. My wife spoke me out of that, talked me out of that. I don't know if you all remember Glenford Small. He came to school one time with a bald head, and between the auditorium and the bathroom, I was standing right there, and he came across, and I hit him a clout. And he being I wouldn't say it really, but he went and complained to Mr. Ryan, which I find was so, you know. I mean, he could have come and muscle up to me, but I guess he went and he went and complained to Mr. Ryan. And Mr. Ryan benched me in front of the auditorium. I wouldn't see anymore. But anyhow, I forgive him because of my wife, really. I forgive him for that experience. But all in all, my Harmon experience was a pretty good one. I made a lot of friends, still up to this day. And my wife was part of the experience also. So thank you all, and glad to see you all.
A pleasant evening to all. Former teachers, Mr. Philip, I recognize, our current principal, fellow classmates. I don't think I'm worthy because I only spent 2 years at Harmons, and I think I'm the only one from that Roxborough Sec crew. I came from Roxborough Sec, and as a 16-year-old, thinking that I knew everything about life, you know, we are at 16. The Harmons experience for me was a great one. Yes, it was. And it took, you know, the lessons learned took me throughout my life. But most importantly would be the relationships that were formed. I have some of my best friends today. I went to Roxborough. I don't want to say anything bad about Roxborough. I'm a Roxborough man. But I have some of my best friends today from my Harmons experience for 2 years. And relationships are, we don't understand how important relationships are, but I think it's the most important thing that's going to take us through our lives, and here we are today. I am representing from the eastern side of Tobago, and it was a beautiful experience for me. So thanks again, Harmons.
We have a gentleman who just walked in here, and I know he has something to say. There you are.
Well, let me take a rest.
I don't want to rest. Go, come. Say something. Harmons must have done something for you. Say something. When you can be ready. I'm short for words. He's shy, but he will say something. When Sancho say something, Mr. McCall say something.
Right, good afternoon, everyone. Mr. Ryan and Mrs. Ryan, Mr. Philip, Smart, good afternoon. Fellow classmates, good afternoon. Now, my name is Curtis McLeod. Some of these experiences guys talk about, I don't know anything about it. And the reason why, probably, I used to absent too much. But my experience in Harmons, basically, there was a subject we used to do called Facing Life. And it taught me a lot. It actually prepared me for life. Now, I've spent 30 years plus in the military. And there's a saying that join the army and the army will discipline you. That is nonsense. You have to have discipline in order to survive in the military environment. And Harmons gave me that discipline. So, I want to say thank you all. Thanks for the experience, and God bless.
Does anybody else feel like saying something? Mr. Armstrong wants to say. Mr. Armstrong wants to say something.
Good evening. My name is Dave Armstrong. I just want to say hello and congratulate my favorite teachers who are in front of me now. You see, you don't hear I say favorite, so you spin around with speed. Mr. Philip and Miss Aldith Smart. Miss Smart, well, she always take care of me. In school, Miss Aldith Smart, your boy Dave. In school, I'm telling you, I was injured. She can't believe it. On bicycle and these things, and she took me aside and dressed my wounds and coming to school in short pants and these things. And she gave us a subject in school to do, an English subject, to write a poem about fire. I did write this poem and came out on top, and she gave me a pen as a winner. I achieved that very much at school. Then again, Mr. Philip now, he was a good supporter now. He always encouraged me in doing things. Called me Mr. Zungu. Nuts in the pack is good for the back and all these things. I couldn't forget him for that as a sportsman. And then again, at Harmons now, I learned to pray. When I got home on evenings, yes, when I got home on evenings, I would go out in my veranda and shout aloud, praying hard for people to hear in the village. But that I learned in school. I never learned to pray on these things. The father might read a psalm and punish me if I didn't read. But I hear Mr. Anthony Hector praying aloud in front of the class and to go brave and set up and say about like I'm doing now. I was glad for that. I learned to pray. And Mr. Anthony Hector, he always said this prayer to me, protect me from all harm and danger, seen and unseen. I achieved that a lot.
Thank you very much, Mr. Armstrong. I take in one other person before I bring on the main person. I have two.
Good evening, everyone. Our special guests, teachers, Mr. Ryan and wife, and I am grateful for this opportunity. And it's so good to see all of us. And as I sat there, what I'm doing lately is comparing a lot of things to how I was brought up. I was privileged to have parents. My father was very strict. We got beatings, but in order for them to beat me, they had to catch me. Anyhow, and as I'm comparing my Harmons experience to how I was brought up. One thing, I had a very loving mother that instilled both my parents were God-fearing people, and they instilled that in us. My mother was super loving, so loving. She was always involved in her community. Wherever she went, wherever she lived, she got involved. And I thank God every day, and now I can compare my Harmons experience to the way my parents brought me up. In so much that my heart aches for young people today, because I see the lack of discipline, all the behavioral things that are going on, and heaven help them. Let's keep them in prayer. Something I want to instill in us, seeing that we have this opportunity, is to try to stay in touch with each other, however that happens, and share love among each other. The world needs so much. You can't hear? Oh, I'm so sorry. The world needs so much of that today. Love, God's love. So let's share it wherever possible and necessary. And if that's the only thing you're going to do it well. Also try to help the young people. They have needs. Let's reach out and touch somebody, some young person. And if I can give you an experience, I've been away for the past 35 years. And like my mom, I'm trying to get involved in my community. And I reached out to a group of young men. And I was trying to encourage them to do things in the neighborhood, cut each other's lawn, grass, whatever. And one young guy said to me, he couldn't be more than 15. So what could you and I do together? And I was like, what? There is so much disrespect. I mean, I'm sure I'm older than his mother. But you know what? I had to dismiss it because back in my day, I would spit in my hand and box that person. That was total disrespect. But I'm praying for them. So let's be encouraged. In spite of what the situation may be with the young people, if we can help them, let's help them and share God's love. And remember, it's never too late to accept Jesus as your Savior. Because what? Tomorrow, actually, the next second is promised to no one. Where are we going to stand on that great day? Shall we be found before Him wanting, or with our sins all washed away? Guess what? I love you, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Thank you, ma'am.
Hi all. Just to talk about my experience in Harmons, it was not like the utopia that I heard everyone say, but the end point, what I gained from my experience is that, and as I see my classmates and see how they develop and achieve many life goals, what I as an adult, when I look at children, what I gain, I said, you cannot make a judgment call on a child by the little misbehaving or what we consider misbehaving. I remember one of my experience was a teacher had told me that I like to talk and I like to chew, I like to do whatever I like to do. And she was like, you have no self-control. And that no self-control will take you whatever. And it had such a negative impact on me. But the but about it is that I had a praying mother, and I too learned to pray. When I attended Harmons, I was not an Adventist. I'm an Adventist now. And I have heard about people calling out people and say they achieved so many things. And just by talking to many of my colleagues, I was surprised of hearing who become teachers, who were doing this and doing that. And at that time, when I was attending Harmons, and if you had asked me, I would have had a book with an X. I would say, no good, no good, no good. But that's not how it is. I mean, I have a life experience that would impress so many of you. And I'm just using me an example that when we walk in life and we have an opportunity to be a mentor for someone, whether they're a youth or even a growing adult, just use what you have. Take away, try, because learning self-control is not just telling a child because children would be children. But self-control also means controlling that attitude, that impulse to make judgment, that impulse to say the wrong thing or the quick haste that we like to use. We need to control that too. And I heard about many experiences, but my experience in Harmons, I have lifetime friends. I have not been in contact with them for a long time. Lauren is one of them, Jill is another, and I could go down the list. We have not been in touch, but as I see them, the bond is there. We are able to talk, we are able to relive our days. And if anyone had seen me, they would say, oh, don't follow her. Because I was the one that looked forward to chapel. And you know what was the reason why? It was the time I had a ball. I was an Adventist, so I couldn't appreciate what they were trying to teach me at that time. But God had his eyes on me. And God has his eyes on each one of you all. The journey is not over until God says it's over. And now I can appreciate chapel. And the lesson for me is that should I be in a position to mentor or teach or have a young person, what God gave me, I should spill it over to them. And I just want to, there are a lot of teachers in Harmons that are not here that were impressionable to me, that made an indelible mark on my life that I remember, and they are not here. And to the absent teachers, I say, if they're alive, because some of them I know have died, may God continue to bless and keep them, because in heaven there will be a record of the souls that were saved because of the indelible mark these teachers made. So the journey in Harmon, when I look back, I say, I had some negative because I was not an Adventist, and some of the teachers were prejudiced to me. They didn't teach, they would pass me over because I was not counting. But the overall view is that God placed me there, and the seeds were planted, even though I did not know the seeds were planted. And here am I. And I do have a mark in history. And I just want to say thank God that he was able to use an institution. So it's not just Harmons, but God using an institution to touch lives. My life was touched. I attained a lot. I did a lot in life. And I still have a lot to do. And my goal is, when I finish life journey, and should life still continue, I hope that someone could say, Yolanda left a mark on my life. And because of Yolanda, here am I. So I just want to thank each one who's here, because you all left a mark on my life. And because of you, I'm here and I'm able to speak. So thank you all, and God bless you. And may we have a night that we would not forget. Thanks once again.
Good evening. Good evening, everyone. My name is Roger R. Ryan. Actually, my middle name begins with the letter A. First of all, there's so many emotions that overwhelm me being here. Coming back to Tobago every time is emotional, but being with my classmates who were always older than I was is a whole other thing. You know, your Harmon experience is gonna always be different than mine because I was the principal's son. And that was a crazy, difficult dance, right? I was the example, and I was the youngest, but I'm supposed to be the example. What is that exactly? And whenever I ask my parents, how can I be in the top 10 in my class, but I can't hang out with the kids in my class? You know, I'm the man of the house, that stuff. However, I used to think my career was predicated on my own, but the truth of the matter is my first tour was when I was a sophomore, which is, I guess, Form 2? I don't know what sophomore is in Trinidad and Tobago, but I was 11 years old. By the way, I was 9 when I met you guys, okay? My birthday's in September, so I turned 10 when I walked through the doors. So I was really a kid, the kid that you guys were tapping up all the time. All right, that's me. There was a trip to Barbados, and I couldn't sleep the night before. I was so excited that I was gonna get to go somewhere else on a plane and play music. To this day, I never sleep the night before I travel. I have the same excitement traveling to do music. You know, most of you had conventional careers, doctor, lawyer, nurse, teachers, blah, 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 blah. I had this controversial thing going on in my head all the time, and my wonderful, loving parents couldn't understand. I remember telling my father I dreamed of playing for thousands of people. And he said to me, yes, Roger, music is a wonderful hobby, but, blah, 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 blah. And, it was a thing, it was a thing. And I couldn't speak back because I was a 9-year-old high school kid who played for church, who was doing all this stuff, but couldn't really talk back to his parents because he was 9. It's not like you big people who could say, Mr. Ryan, I don't like that. I'm just, okay, Dad, and I have to put my tail between my legs and go hide in the corner, But I never stopped dreaming, and my father never stopped paying Miss Armstrong for my piano lessons. My mother and my father both always encouraged me to practice. The first actual lesson that I got was from my father. He told me to be an accompanist, not to be busy when I play for people. And today, when I produce music, the first thing I tell artists is I'm an accompanist who uses production to play for them. I left Tobago with all of this experience in my heart and got to a school in Huntsville and decided I can't go to med school. And like all of you who spoke before, when God calls you and gives you something, it really is special, and you should pay attention to it. So I had another difficult conversation with my poor dad. I love him, but it is what it is. I came home and I said, yo, I'm not going to med school. And I won't tell you about the discussion because, I have a crazy memory, and of course my dad won't remember anything he said, right, Dad? But I changed my major, and I can stand before you as a past, student of Harmon. I've been nominated for 8 Grammys. And if you don't know what a Grammy is, the closest thing to a Grammy is if you become a representative of your country to go to the Olympics, right? I've been nominated 8 times. That's in one country. I have 3 nominations out of Canada, which are the Juno Awards, which one of them we actually won. God has opened crazy doors for me. I'm one of the few men on the planet to play for Whitney Houston. I've done movie premieres. I have I've done every talk show in New York. I've been all around the world except, well, it's not true, I've been to Africa as well, as far as Moscow, doing music. And if anyone told me this, I couldn't make this stuff up. So my message to you is, even at this stage in your lives, dreams are real. Don't stop dreaming. My dreams and my journey isn't over. I just got back from Dubai. Like, what am I doing in Abu Dhabi and Dubai? Teaching at Berkeley School of Music as a guest instructor. My dad likes to say teacher because, he has a teacher thing, but I'm a residence, artist in residence, by the way. But don't give up on your dreams, because God sends dreams. And all of us in here had something that we wanted to do, and our dreams actually came true. Mine have come true, and I still have more. And I'm thankful to God. And I am proud of my father and my mother. My father came to this country, brought us down here. I didn't know anything about Tobago. We walked up to that school. There was no paint on the walls. There was nothing there. And I was like, where are we going to school? I watched my dad, with God's help, turn that place around. Dr. Williams and Ellis, President Ellis, came to our dedication. I watched my dad do things that he didn't realize that he was actually inspiring me, even though thought I was being inspired over here. I watched him do stuff. That Harmon experience thing, I used to watch the kids come to school with the uniforms, the girls especially with the little thing around. Even now when I come home and I watch Harmon students going to school, my chest is bucked out. I'm still proud of what I see there. So I'm grateful to all of you to have been in school with you. I know I was young, I was probably miserable, like you guys say, but I was only 9. But how do you like me now?
All right, we need to take it down a bit. It's fine. Make it short. It's getting late, and people start.
All right. Good evening, everyone. I think it is quite fitting to speak after Ryan there. I want to juggle the memories of my classmates. There was once sports at school, and the race, Ryan was in that race. The race had ended about 10 minutes ago, and he was the lone man running in that race. All the way. So we wondering, why he's still running in the race? And he ran right to the finish line. And I know you could remember this. You should never forget, because this still resonates in my mind. And we had was to stand up, because the principal said, let's give him a standing ovation. Always finish what you start. And that has embedded this, since that has grown in me. I have 5 children, and they cannot start something and leave it unfinished. And you teachers don't know the effect that you have on your students. Even as an adult, you will see the face, the image of some of the teachers that impact your life, saying certain things that don't do it so, do it this way. The right way is the only way. And these things, when you talk to your children, I have a little daughter right now. She don't forget nothing. I can make a mistake and say something. A whole month after, she said, you said it so. You said it so. This is how I doing it. I'm not changing until you say, don't do it this way. And this is how it was impacting on me. Now, people may not know. I took home that same wisdom, I have to call it wisdom, to my parents. And my father is a man, he don't talk much, but when he starts to talk, he don't stop. So he, according to Yolan, he brought us, I was jumping from religion to religion. I catch myself a day, I say, Daddy, which church we going today? Because you just have to get ready. We go to Sunday church, we go to Sabbath church, until I get fed up. I said, Daddy, You have to make up your mind, If we have to worship God, we have to get it right. So he finally say, something. Do I have to cut it short? Sometimes these things you can't cut it short, because you'll miss the point. But my sister, she went somewhere and something happened to her foot. And forever, it's not healing. He took her from Tobago, went to Trinidad to find somebody to heal it. Nothing happening. And the people get so fed up that they say, nothing can happen. Nothing can heal this thing, So he gave up. When you see a full-grown man give up, you just feel it, Because his aura, everything about that person will show you he's have a sad countenance. My father was walking around sad because of his daughter. And you all don't know how important it is to teach your students certain morals and values that will live with them forever. And I say, Daddy, it's only God could fix this, My teacher say, any problem you have, take it to the Lord in prayer. So they had a crusade. A crusade was current. And the lady come by. We weren't Adventists, but we fellowship in the church. We weren't fully Adventists. And he went to the church, the crusade, and eventually he accepted the message and he got baptized. But men, although they're baptized and they have this habit, they're still going to gravitate to it after a while. So I keep, in school, they teach you pay attention to your surroundings. They teach us to be alive to your environment. So Daddy got baptized. And he's still going and smoke a cigarette. And he know he's not supposed to. I didn't even know that it was affecting me. But years after I became adult, I realized that Daddy had his eyes on me. So I want to cut it. I had to dice it up. My sister, we went to the Adventists, and he got baptized, and they had a prayer session, a week of prayer. And as he got baptized, he said, you have to come to church. All the children have to go. And my sister went. And they had a season of prayer. You know how the Adventists have it? And they say, anything you want, you just tell the Lord. And my sister say, and she was always say, I don't want nothing. All I want is my foot to heal. And they say to pray. And she said, God, all I want is my foot to heal. And I was small, And I remember that even today. Because my father got up and he testified about it. He said, from now on, he's not going nowhere else, but he's staying in the Adventist church. And that was my foundation. But not said, I want to bring it home. My father, I saw him when he's smoking. And we was by the road looking over. And he said, you see that man there? He must go and buy the cigarette. And he really went and he bought cigarette. And he came back to smoking. And then he started. You see what I tell you? He can't do without a cigarette. And now I was married. I live in my own life. So I'm a full man now. And I look at him and I say, Daddy, you shouldn't talk, You was just so. And he stay a while. And then he say, son, you're right. I didn't know better. And he said, you think I didn't know that when I take up cigarette here, that it was affecting you? You didn't like it? You used to, anytime I take that cigarette, you used to leave the house and go outside and wait until I finish smoke and come back. I didn't know that, And he went on to say, but one morning, praise the Lord, I got up and these things come back to my mind, how my son used to just walk out the house and after a while come back. So he took the cigarette and he tossed it over in the bush. And he said that was the end of smoking. You have a way, God have a way to work out things, And then I said, oh, that is why I'm not seeing no cigarette anymore. He said, I'm done with that because of you. And whatever I teach you in school, you used to tell me them things, and I used to study it. I say, my son would hate me for life if I didn't stop smoke. And I didn't hate him because I was in his, well, he passed on, but we talk, he came and because I'm not living over here, I live in Trinidad, and he came and he spent some time at my place, and he promised to come back. He came to Tobago. This time the boat was coming to take the ferry service and come freely. As he reached 60, he said he will come back, and that was it. He went to Tobago to come back, and he stayed in Tobago and died. But God bless his soul, and I'm thankful for everyone here. This should have been done so long ago, but I'm thankful for those who administrate this thing, Yvette and Anthony and all the others who put their 2 cents that we could be here, and I say that we should find a way to group up again. So I leave it in the hands of God, and I pray that everybody here today would be blessed, and we will reunite and want to, well, we lost a lot of friends, and I pray to God that God will bless us and keep us and make his face shine upon us and be gracious unto us, so that we'll live a longer life. And you know something, this teacher here, before I go, this teacher here, he taught us one thing. We don't have no watch, but we could look at the sun and tell the time. You remember that? You could just take out a rag and know where the breeze blowing. You remember that? How we could forget that? Because I teaching it too. And thank you for all my comrades. Do you see that I tolerate the diabolical impertinence of you, insignificant, innumerable, noxious, aberrations, ignominious, tempests? We was the big word men. You remember that? That's people. When you see you walking, people used to come and say, which school you went? When you tell them Harmons, they don't know where Harmons is. I had to tell them Jordy Map. All right, thanks everyone.
Okay, good evening, everybody. I can't really remember no such experience, trust me, but what I want to say is that the Adventist school, you see the structure, I believe in the structure, and it's not only Harmons, because I've been to other places, and the structure is what remains with me, because my daughter, I went to Harmons, Seventh-day Adventist. My daughter, I sent her to an Adventist school. And now I have a granddaughter. She will be 5. And my daughter is asking me, what school we sending her? And I said, send her to Auntie Colene's school. That is Cohis Preparatory Home School in Mason Hall, which is an Adventist. That's it.
Thank you. That's it. Joy, I thought you wanted to say something. All right. Yeah. She said no, sir. Any other classmate want to say anything? Because I'm going into the bigger part of the meet, which is the teachers. So this is your time now. Going once, going twice, I thought Mr. Duncan might have want to say something. Mr. Duncan, of all persons, and coming to say something. Something wrong with that? Tolia? Something wrong with that? Me ain't trying no psychology, but I mean, you're not a man who's short for words, sir.
Pleasant evening to everyone. Let me say that again. Pleasant evening to all my classmates. My stay at Harmons was short because I left and joined the police service. My father always wanted to have his own police service. You know. One thing stuck in my mind. Pastor Cook, the short man, for somehow, me and this teacher always getting something. He told me at time, he said, You have to write 400 lines. I told him, sir, my father is not buying copybooks for me to write lines. He said to me, you are playing man. I said, I cannot play what I am. He kept me in 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I told him, I said, sir, you have a wife. I don't have, so I can stay here. When I got baptized and I was in Mount Pleasant as the elder, Pastor Kirk was invited. When he watched, he said, Duncan? He said, nah, man. I said, that's the grace of God. Today, I was called by the national security to go and visit all the prisons in Trinidad and Tobago. That is where I met Mr. Wayne Chance. And I want to say, I never planned to be a preacher. But when God called you, and God have a ministry for you, and let me tell you something, the best life anyone could live is a Christian life. Thank you.
Angela Otley, oh gosh, come and say something again. Look how you look nice. Look how 60 of you blooming, girl. Now, if you can't come to mommy, mommy will come to you.
Good evening, everyone. I don't know why she wants to stir me up, but it's okay. I just want to say it's a pleasure seeing each and every one of you guys. We have grown into, well, I would tell myself, I'm now a grown woman, no longer that slim, skinny girl, TL going to Harmons. But my Harmons experience, I can share 2 of them with you. Well, being very slim, very neat, it was a Monday morning, rain fell, and the guys were kicking ball in the classroom. I don't know if that was a thing they were supposed to do, but nevertheless, I made a statement. If that ball should come on my uniform, I don't know what is going to happen. And one of my classmates said, well, if it come on you, what would you do? I said, well, just let it happen. And we fought. There was a fight. And now I sent him home without a shirt because I tear off his shirt. Dunstan Darlington. And, a fight. I give him good, Yeah. So we were both suspended for the week, but our schoolwork came home. It didn't take away from us. That was one of my Harmons experience, because don't do me what I don't like and you get away, right? Another experience we had, Sandra Chance. I know she was always the quiet one among us. And I don't know, she went into the police service. I don't understand that. Me being in the military, I was able to do, like arrests or whatever, do whatever. The songbook, you have to do your song service on mornings. And we didn't have our songbooks. I know Harmons gave us good values, moral principles, and so on. But the evening, you had to stay back for your song service. So what we did, we went to another class and we got songbooks from other students. So in passing, you just have to show your songbook. And myself and Yearwood, I think it was Rhonda Spicer, we were all going out. And when we look back for Sandra Chance, she was sitting, I afraid. So she didn't follow us, she was there, The experiences we had, it really molded us and groomed us into the fine young men and women we are today, and I just want to thank my teachers, my fellow classmates, for the time that we shared, and spent together, and I trust God will continue to keep us healthy, with healthy life and, that strength that we can go on with from strength to strength, and that bond of togetherness, for a long time to come. Thank you.
Anybody else want to say something? Ladies and gentlemen, we're now getting into the gravy. I'm positive Mr. Philip is here, taught me agree in school, and that I'm able to plant something. I'm able to do lots of planting and nurturing of the soil and stuff because of this gentleman. He's also married to my cousin. I'm sure he wants to say something. Ladies and
Good night, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank Clinton because I'm a very hard person to get in touch with. I'm not a phone person. I don't answer phone. So you get my wife's number. How you get my wife's number? Thanks for the invitation. You know, after spending 47 years in an institution, sometimes it's difficult because the line between your personal life and the institution, it gets blurred. But Harmon has had a tremendous effect on me. And when I meet people like you, I feel that my life was worth living. I feel that, you know, you really made a contribution. And I thank God for the opportunity of allowing me to be able to interact with students. And one of the things I always tell myself, respect is a two-way street. Yes, the child in Form 1 and you is the big teacher, whoever it is, but you have to respect that child. Because after a couple of years, you're walking through the airport, you're walking to the hospital, you're meeting, and you have to show them respect. So I always kept that in my mind. I had to go and hug up my partner here. The bats. But what I enjoyed interacting with students, they made you think. Sometimes students just do things to see what you will do, to see how far they could go. But this bunch of students, although they used to push you, they always had respect. And I pray for all of you. God will bless you. Continue to be healthy. And I love you.
Thank you, Mr. Philip. I'm trying to find Miss Smart, but like she disappeared. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we're getting into the big guns, I'm so pleased to introduce the next speaker, and I would like everybody to stand and welcome none other than Dr. Ryan. Although he beat me plenty, but that's fine. Yes, sir. That and song like a Harmons welcome. Yes, I want a Harmons welcome. Dr. Ryan, the floor is yours, sir.
Good evening, everybody. Linton, I need to see you in my office right now. It's a wonderful experience to be in a setting like this. And I think 49 years ago I was at Harmon, 1974. And through all the varied experiences that you have had, for every experience that you have had, I have had the experience also because I had the experience interacting with you. So whatever the experiences you talked about tonight, I was part of that. And many times you're not aware how much I was learning. I can't remember the name of the student. I'm not sure it was George Walcott. It could be him or it might have been somebody else. But what this person did, he was told to go to the office. He was told to go to the office. And when we got to the office, I think I had a nice piece of leather in the drawer. And I pulled the leather out of the drawer. And he was standing, and my idea, my aim, my objective was he would get about at least 6. When I pulled that piece of leather out, and I looked at the young man, and he was tall, he was big, I realized maybe the Spirit told me, don't do that. Don't try that. That young man was going to retaliate physically. I saw it in his eyes. I knew it was going to happen. So I sat back in my chair and I started rolling the strap up. Very slowly rolling it up and looking at his eyes and looking at the door. And after it was rolled up, I said, you know, I could have given you 6 with this strap. But I ain't going to do that. You're not that kind of person. You know well, you know better than that. So here's what I want you to do. We will go back to the auditorium. I want you to make an apology and tell the students how they ought to behave when we have an assembly. And he agreed with that, and I breathed a sigh of relief. I got out of that one, and we went to the auditorium. It was so quiet you could hear a pin drop. And the young man made his apology, told the students how they ought to behave. I have everybody give him a round of applause, and I benefited. Praise the Lord. And it makes the point that people are saying, sometimes you look at students and it's not every time you should do a certain kind of punishment. You never know what would happen. Somebody talked about Gilbert Peterson. Anybody knows what happened with Gilbert? It was Gilbert, and who were the other 2 people with him? Nobody was supposed to leave the compound, but Gilbert and 2 others. Spanish, Philbert Joseph. And who's the other one? How did you know that? I need to see you in my office. But you know, I gave him the suspension thing. Get your books. I called an assembly in the church. Get your books. Go home right away. I know the parents would come, and the parents came in, and we worked it out. And Gilbert, I could pick the phone up midnight and call Gilbert. In fact, I called him last Friday, and Gilbert would be there. And I'm so happy, and it is such a joy to see what has become of that individual. And so I want to thank all of you for my Harmon experience, because you thought I was helping you, but you were teaching me. And I appreciate that very much. So with that in mind, I'm angry with Linton, and I will say it. Because Linton has put me on the spot. Linton has asked me, Linton, why you do that? He was trying to punish me. Oh, sorry, Linton was trying to punish me. I gotta find this thing. And Linton asked me to speak. I have to tell you. Linton was trying to punish me when he asked me to speak on this topic. He gave me the topic. The child has become the father of the man. He gave me a topic. I didn't know that. Listen to the topic, ladies and gentlemen. Keeping connected in the digital age while enjoying retirement. Keeping connected in the digital age while enjoying retirement. I say, but what does I do him? Why are you going to ask me to do this at this age of my life? I don't want to do much reading. I don't want to go and do research. And this young man, Linton James, we have to talk after the meeting. But ladies and gentlemen, it's a very serious topic. Keeping connected in the digital age while enjoying retirement. It's serious stuff. So here we go. Aldous Huxley, in his book Future Shock, I don't know if anybody has read that book, Future Shock, written in 1970. Keep the time in mind because it's important. Written in 1970. And he said, we have in our time released a totally new social force, a stream of change so accelerated that it influences our sense of time, revolutionizes the tempo of daily life, and affects the very way we feel the world around us. And he goes on to say a little bit more. For this acceleration lies behind the impermanence, the transience that penetrates and tinctures our consciousness, radically affecting the way we relate to other people, to things, to the entire universe of ideas, art, and values. Let me tell you tonight, friends, it also affects our spiritual anchor. And what Huxley was talking about in 1970 is what we are actually living in today. It is indeed to this time and to this experience that we have now arrived. And it is in this present age that we are challenged to keep connected while enjoying retirement. I call it a terse rendering of your theme. There are three powerful ideas. There are three powerful ideas deeply embedded within your theme, all worthy of consideration, all necessary pivots towards survival and enjoyment. We must, however, find some sensible mooring upon which to anchor this terrible truth, which is inherent in your theme. Such an anchor is ensconced in King David's Psalms, Psalms 90 and verse 12. So simple and yet so eloquent. It says, so teach us to number our days, that we may apply our hearts unto wisdom. From the safety of this Bible-inspired mooring, we can now venture into analytical discourse of the three pillars found in your thought-provoking theme: our digital age, our need to stay connected, and enjoying retirement. Let's look quickly at our digital age. How has it impacted our lives? In what ways? It's increased our access to knowledge and communication. Let's look a little further. World Economic Forum. I checked that out, and they said since the dot-com bubble burst, back in 2000, technology has radically transformed our societies and our daily lives. From smartphones to social media and healthcare, there has been a technological revolution. Some 90% more people are online today. In fact, more than at the turn of the century. Less than 7% of the world was online in 2000. Presently, half the global population is on internet. We have accelerated from 700 million cell phone subscribers to the world has now passed 8 billion 2 decades later. That's the age in which we live. Actually, there are more cell phones than people. The interesting observation is that at the same time, technology was also morphing into a more personal and portable phenomenon. In 2001, Apple marketed its first iPod. 6 years later, the iPod was replaced by the iPhone, and the rest is history. As Huxley prophesied, a stream of change avalanching upon us, changing the way we sense and feel the world around us. When I was in high school, I sent notes to a certain lady. I used to write the notes on a small bit of paper, put it between a textbook, and give one of the friends and say, take that, give this book to Betty. And she knew that when she got a textbook from me, it was a note. Today, the telephone and the cell phone would have taken place of that. So let's go a little further. Time will not permit me to identify the many gadgets and tools and artificial intelligent inventions that has totally changed our homes, our cars, medical practices, and of course, social interactions, communication, and relationships. In which of these categories would you place, what do you call the thing? The one is GPS? And AI? You know, life is so difficult for my wife and I. We have to call my son in Atlanta when we need something fixed on the phone or on the computer or the iPad. And I remember one day when I called him, he gave me this number and he said, put this number in. So I put the number, whatever he told me in, and I said, okay, the computer working. He said, no, it's not working. I'm the one doing it from where I am. And now the addiction is complete. We cannot do without them. This week, a woman in Brisbane went to her bank to get some money. She had forgotten her bank card home, so she went into the bank to withdraw the money. This week, and they told her she couldn't. She could not withdraw her own money because they're no longer using cash. Therefore, you cannot go to the bank and get cash. You can get whatever the thing is. I don't know what they call it yet. So that's what's happening. Keeping connected. We keep connected via iPhones and Zoom and chat rooms and FaceTime. But do they really keep us connected? Children and adults spend the greater portion of their lives connected to others by cell phones, by internet, by Zoom, by FaceTime, by podcasts, TV shows, programs, platforms, and chat rooms. Are these media forms real or artificial? By 2018, in 2004, less than 1 million people were on MySpace. You all know what is MySpace? I don't know, I only research it. There was no Facebook. By 2018, Facebook recorded more than 2.26 billion clients, and there are other platforms that were emerging. There's such lightning speed in this digital age. The social revolution, driven by the lightning speed and accuracy of these new gadgets, have left parents speechless and hopeless. These varied platforms and the media in general have so captivated and imprisoned the young mind, they have coalesced to form a chasm between parents and the children. Parents are unable to communicate, and adults are unable to communicate. The research tells us that if a child looks at media for 3 hours a day, these children are actually lost their mind. Some of them are in distress. Some of them are having all kinds of medical problems or psychiatric problems. We have lost the human touch. Reality has gone away. That is why you're here tonight, because in this age where everything is digital, where you pick up the phone and you can call somebody, even if you can see them on Zoom, it's not the same as when you're in a room like this and you can see a person and touch a person. So our challenge is creating a balance. We are lost. There's a sense of lostness in our society. The digital age to which we have come will indeed impact retirement. Enjoy retirement. How can you do that? How can you enjoy retirement when you're only when you're connected but you're separated? You're connected by the digital ideas and the digital gadgets, but you're still separated emotionally, because it's the emotional contact that makes sense in our world, and this is how we were made. So, I say enjoy your retirement. I say enjoy your retirement. Our challenge is to enjoy our retirement. To enjoy retirement, how can we do that? Did your life have purpose? Did you just live for yourself? Did you accumulate a lot of money? I see no hands. But if you did accumulate a lot of money, don't forget the Bible story about the rich fool who built new barns, and that night he died. Don't hoard up the money. Use it wisely for God. And it's not too late for some of you to find God's purpose. Abraham was over 100 years when God called him again. God might call you again. Let yours be available if he calls you again. And quickly as I close, avoid Haran. Haran was a place that Abraham and his family stopped at. They were heading to Canaan, but they made a stop in Haran. They didn't leave there. They lived there for years. That was not their destination, but they stayed there. And his wife actually died there. Some of you went away. Say you're going to get an education, make some money, and come back home. And a lot of you are stuck in Haran. Think about it. Think about it, and think of the choices you have to make. The enjoyment of your retirement will depend on how successfully you have completed all your tasks, whether you have set things in order, whether you have made your wills, whether you know what will happen with your properties when you pass on. And all of this is very important. But finally, through all of this, a message and encouragement brought by the Apostle John, reverberating down the corridors of time. He says, fear God and give glory to him, for the hour of his judgment is come. And who shall be able to stand? I must tell you that the world is really at an end, and Jesus will come. And so, my friends, whatever you do, wherever you go, remember that you must fear him and prepare yourself to be with him when he comes. Therefore, take heed, lest you find yourself reflecting the words of the late mighty Shadow. A shoulda, a coulda, and a woulda. Enjoy yourself. It's later than you think. Thank you.
You know, as I was standing behind Mr. Ryan, I tried to remember the afro. But now I see brushing back the hair. and you have a big bald head here. It just shows the change of times. We have grown. Sometime yesterday we were little. We were not fortunate to graduate, but we survived. And we perform. We excel. Today we can look back and use that experience as a stepping stone. But I would just want to remind some of us, life is interesting. Our class was in excess of 100. Today we have lost in excess of 20 of them who are deceased. And in so doing, I would like us to give 1 minute of silence for their respects, please. Okay, thank you. As I'm on this, I would like to bring you all to a note that is, melancholy. One of our colleagues, Elroy Moore, had his plans. The Lord had other plans. He bought his ticket, waiting to board the flight to go to one of the Caribbean islands before he get here. He wasn't feeling well and he started a cold sweat. They rushed him to the hospital. They had to perform an emergency surgery. I was just online with him talking there, and he extends his warmest greetings to everyone, and we also wish him a speedy recovery. All right?
I know it's getting late and people must start to get hungry, but we got to do what we got to do. I know everybody has excelled in some form or fashion, but before I do this, we have a past principal. I think I want to ask the present principal to just say a few words first. Miss, I hope you don't mind. I'd like to put people on the spot.
Right, good evening, everyone. Right, so my name is Chanel Ross Utley. I am the present principal of Harmons School of Seventh-day Adventists. And yes, I take my mentorship from a lot of past principals, example Dr. Ryan. And I sat there and I listened to all those who spoke. And I just want to say to you something. Harmon continues to, 1, plant a seed. 2, touch life, instill discipline. It still awakens the dreams in our young people. And I want to say to you as well that you can come back and give. This coming school year, we have entitled it or themed it as Heroes, and you are our heroes. Yes? I know I like to sing, and I sat there and I was thinking about the song, Do You Ever Know That You Are Our Hero? And you are indeed our hero, and you will continue to be. And I pray that someday you'll be able to come back and meet the present students and instill in them something to go out there, because 20 years from now, they may be doing the same thing that you are doing. And it's because of somebody like you who came back inspired, and they can do the same. So continue to have a pleasant night, and you are welcome to come back at Harmon. Thank you.
The driver of PBM 8190. You have 90. You ain't got Harmon's boy, you're missing something, boy. Mr. Ryan, you need to take the man to your office and deal with him. 9-0, good. You're blocking somebody. I think they probably need to move. All right. We're just trying to get them into the. As I was saying, every single person here has excelling some. Whether you're driving a garbage truck or you're cleaning the street, do it to the best of your ability. All right. It doesn't matter whether you're a lawyer, you're a doctor, whatever. As long as you come through Harmons, trust me, you have something with you. All right, we have some small little tokens or little appreciation for 1 and 2 persons. Everybody can get, but you know, I choose to do this one because this one touch and move me a whole lot. You know, this person has been to Scarborough C. From Scarborough C, moved to Adventist. You know, it's from church to church. From there, been to the fire service for 33 years. Fire engineer in London. He has done exceptionally well in 2006. He was a pioneer. And I've been in the health field for like 41 years from Harmons. Thanks again to you, wonderful teacher. Miss Smart taught me literature. I agree, and Mr. Ryan taught me how to be extremely disciplined by some flogging. That's fine. Ladies and gentlemen, being on the ward, surgical ward, no. I've been on maternity, working for quite a while. And a young lady came up to me. She said, Yvette, you know Dunstan on the ward? I said, what are you talking about? Which Dunstan? Dunstan Darlington. Well, you know who does talk, so right? If anybody tell me go talk, so I give you only $20. I said, who are you talking about? Which Dunstan? I tell Dunstan Darlington on the ward. I'm going to look for him now. I said, what? I'm coming with you. All right. You really want $20, boy? Where you getting out? So I left my ward. I run across because Mr. Ryan and Dave from Harmons taught us how to love. They taught us how to be together. I don't know what happened with the generation now. That's, you know the reason why we all are here? It's not because we're 60 and over. It's because of the love that we was taught from Harmons. Anyway, I went over and see this gentleman. And with God as my witness, I thought we lost him. Because being in the health field and you have a tube going down your nose and you're seeing stuff coming through that tube, you go say what it is. I said, oh my God, we're going to lose this guy. And then I say, but you know how to pray. You know how to pray. And then during that time, the same person who tell me about not able to see him, they were strict visiting. Do you know what that person bowl? You go say where you want to know, but I go and I look for him. So she making sure she go and say, girl, I ain't in uniform, so I do have to do that. I went across, watched that gentleman. I said, let me tell you something. You've been to Harmons, you know how to pray. Pray. He said, Yvette, you think so, girl? I said, you ready to give up? He said, look at my condition. He was in a wheelchair, in Pampers, with catheter. I said, Father God, we can't lose this man. And then he has done so much for society. He has done so much for himself, and he's come a long way. And I know, by God's grace, he's back here with us. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure everybody could say who this person is without even having to call any. And I want the person to come forward, please. I'm sure the person, I don't even have to say who it is they're going to call. Ladies and gentlemen, none other than Dunstan Darlington. I want to say thank you very much for your service, sir. Thank you very, very much. You have come a long way. And may Almighty God continue to shower you with blessing. On behalf of the 80's, we want to say how much we love and appreciate you. We thank you for your service. And I'm here to present to you this little token. Put it home, and every time you look at it, think about how much we love you. Thank you for your service, sir.
I was admonished by my colleague there, Mr. Thompson, don't go and make a speech.
Ladies and gentlemen, colleagues, classmates, I turn the mic over now to Mrs. Shadban, my sister, my best friend. She's going to do something similar to what I've done.
Everybody, good afternoon. Before I do what I have to do, I have to add something. When we were prevented from visiting Dunstan at the hospital because of strictness put on by his wife, I said to her, let me tell you, Dunstan know us. It's us Dunstan know. You had to stand in and picking order. We had to, Dunstan know us, we had to get him. By we going to visit him, is going to help him to come. So today we are very good friends. You understand? And I'm thankful that we can be so supportive of each other, even though we are miles apart. But I would encourage us, all of us, to still continue to stay in touch, yeah? And we don't lose this love. On behalf of the 80's family, I'd like to make a presentation to none other than Owen Thompson. Now we know Owen has had his challenges. I have worked with many departments as a driver. One of the departments was working at mechanical workshop as one of the truck drivers down there, before moving on to be an emergency medical technician. And I would hear somebody brought my name, of course she. And I said, who calling my name, boy? I say, hi, Bachak. You know, and you know, that's the name we had for him. And during that time, I could see the challenges. Sometimes I would walk, he said, where had it to eat? You know, and I would walk. Every morning, I go to work, I have something in my bag for him, because I know the challenges that he was going through. And he would sit and talk with me, and I say, come on, you know where we come from. I say, you have to pull yourself together, you know? And he used to give me encouragement, you know, every time we meet, I give him some encouragement, you know, not, some people, you know, like, give him little discouragement, but I would encourage him. I say, no, we don't need to go down that road, you know? And I'm thankful for Bachak come up, please. I'm thankful that he has come a very long way. And I'm supposed to give him a round of applause for that. So, my dear friend, on behalf of the 80's family, we'd like to present you this token of appreciation. Every time you look at it on your cabinet top, you're going to remember us, right? So let me give you a hug now. Yes.
Good evening, everyone. I don't want to be too long, but boy, it was a crazy time of my life. In that period of time, that boy, I don't even want to talk too much because I don't want nobody feel that I'm trying to gratify anything, boy. But what is my main objective right now, presently in life? I want to do a biography of my life that I had lived for 25 dogged years, boy. And I want to get some assistance from like Lyndon, Yvette, and that kind of thing. I want to do a book so I can inculcate other students, younger ones, that road is no road. And just want to say something too. Mr. Errol Phillips was one of my greatest mentors being in Harmons. I grew with Mr. Phillips from a little dude. He wasn't himself married, boy. We do so many different things, boy. Mr. Phillips, boy, it was really great. And I thank you all so much. Have a good evening, each and everyone.
Thank you very much, Bachak. Owen Thompson, a.k.a. Bachak. All right, we now have Miss Simon to do another presentation for us, the Aunt Simon. Mr. Small, Glenford Small. You're welcome. Thanks you for coming. I thought you wasn't going to come, but thank you, sir.
Good evening, people. I am here to do a presentation for Mr. Dave Armstrong. I'm going to read a short synopsis of who Dave is. Dave Armstrong, commonly known as Milk, Bongalong, or Zungle. He's a very committed and dedicated individual. He has a very kind heart. He's the second of 3 children. He resides with his sister, Shelly Ann, and makes sure she's doing well. He is always ready to recommend a remedy, even as simple as for a headache or a common cold. Dave has a passion for assisting and sharing whatever little he has with his family and friends, especially the elderly in the village. Most of his friends are surprised by his friends being the elderly. He will cut and clean their surroundings, run errands for them, do the groceries, and otherwise. Yes, he does it for a very small cost. His hobbies are planting flowers, cooking, football, kite making, and watching Western movies. Dave just loves to sleep when there's nothing else to do. Dave tries his best to stay humble and remain on the ground. Today, he exhibits the moral values which were embedded in him throughout his childhood and his young adult years. Dave Armstrong is a beacon, a light fueled by God. This is who this young man is. Just now. So on behalf of us all, we want to present this talking to you, so you will always have it to look at and remember the class of the 80s. Thank you so much.
And again, I'm so pleased and surprised to say who is giving me this token. Because since I've been to Harmons, as soon as they hold on to your poster, it might be your last love. Well, I was always friends with the in school.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have 3 other token. One is Mr. Hercules, the other one is Sir Robert James Fuzzy, and the other one is Sandra Kwashi. They're not here, but these belong to them. Ladies and gentlemen, beside me kind of being instrumental into having this class of 80 get together, there was a backbone in this. There was someone who, when I didn't understand certain things, how to go about, I was able to call this person anytime, day or night, and they would respond. I heard somebody talking about them playing cricket and how they run away from school plenty time, end up in the botanic garden, and so on and so on. Finding Mr. Ryan wherever he was, finding Mr. Philip. I don't know how this man find people, but there's something about him. If at once, so, they was in class with us before you wink, that gentleman find him. None other than Mr. Anthony Linton James. Could you come forward, please, sir? Mr. James, on behalf of class of 80, I know you wasn't expecting this. I like this. This is our way of saying thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And behind every good man, there's a good woman. And we have something for your wife as well. Deanne is going to give you that one. There's another one there. That same part the same. This. Yes. One for you and one for Mrs. James. Yes, sir. We just want to say thank you. I am so glad that I could call you anytime, day or night, and you respond. Thank you very much, sir.
This one caught me off guard. Plus, I wasn't listening to the preamble. Thank you. I must admit that I was guided. And I've learned organizations, these things take a lot of work. They may look simple, but putting together programs like these, it takes a lot of work. As a result of that, I have suggestions for my colleagues to transform this seeming not to be a big situation into something worthy and registered and authentic. This leads me to the proposal I made for us to form an organization, registered, legit, not-for-profit organization. Now, you all may see the name, the Tobago Harmonites Foundation, Incorporated, class of 1980. As I indicated before, the Harmonites Foundation, Inc. is a legit organization. And we, as a subsidiary, class of 1980, can benefit a lot. Just a hint, before we leave here, the proposal I made, I would like us to get back to the drawing board on that. Whether we're going to do it, and if we're going to do it, elect a board. So, food for thought. Thank you all again.
Both are yours. One is for you, one is for you.
We want to present this token to Anthony's wife for loaning him to us any crazy hour, day or night. So we just want to thank her openly so she wouldn't feel that we just take her husband and go with him. All right? So we just want to present this to you for her. So you're going to take it with you to her.
Thanks again.
Excitement. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I know people start to get hungry, but can we trying to get some? No, we need some special music. We have exceptionally wonderful people coming out of Harmons, you know. We have people with voices beyond. I don't have none. I have one of the croak voice. I could do bass or tenor. But we have people with some golden voices. So we're going to listen to some of those golden voices. And then we're going to eat. All right? What's her name again? Bernadette Charles Scott. Scott Charles. Oh, yeah, Bernadette Scott Charles. One time.
Good evening, everyone. Before I sing this song, it's about the goodness of God. I was also, additional to being a product from Harmon, I also taught the school for 2 years. I was a biology teacher and also the lab technician for 2 years. And in 1980, I actually was baptized. So I went to school as a non-Adventist and I came out as an Adventist. And I was influenced a lot by my best friend, Susan McLeod. She's here. She was one of the persons who influenced me to become an Adventist. And along with that, I also studied with my mom and my brother, who is deceased. My mom is alive. They also became Seventh-day Adventists through my studies with them. And that's the goodness of God. So I'm going to sing that song. I love you, Lord, for your mercy never fails me. All my days I've been held in your hands. From the moment that I wake up until I lay my head, I will sing of the goodness of God. And all my life you have been faithful. Oh yes, you have. And all my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness of God. I love your voice. You have led me through the fire, through darkest nights. You have been like no other. I've known you as a father. I've known you as a friend, and I have lived in the goodness of God. Whoa, and all my life you have been faithful. Oh yes, you have. And all my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness of God. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. With my mind made up, I surrender now. I give you everything. Ooh, your goodness is running after, it's running after me. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. And all my life you have been faithful. Oh yes, you have. And all my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness of God. And all my life you have been faithful. Yes, you have. And all my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness of God. Yes, I will sing of the goodness of God.
Lord.
Okay, you're going to do that after this one. Right. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening again. My literature teacher is here, and she wants to do one verse of a song, and she said she has something for everybody. I don't know what it is. So, ladies and gentlemen, I now hand the mic over to anybody do literature in Harmons? Who taught only literature?
Good evening, everyone. I taught at Harmon, and then when I came from university, I was placed in the library. I spent more time in the library than teaching. But once a teacher and a trained teacher, you're always a teacher. So from working in the library, I came across two books that have really blown my mind. Since I have retired, I have been buying and distributing these two books wherever I can to whoever would accept them. So tonight, I am going to give, I have something for everybody. I'm going to give the first 15 one, and everybody else would got the other one, okay? The song I'm going to sing the verse of is, we do not know how many years of life are ours to spend, but one who knows is everywhere. He'll keep you to the end. I know who holds the future, and I know who holds your hand. With God, things don't just happen. Everything by Him is planned. So as you face tomorrow with your problems large and small, you trust the God of miracles. Give to Him your all. The first book is Steps to Christ. All who have never gotten a Steps to Christ, I have 15. So the first 15 people who come will get that. After that, everybody else is going to get the other one. The other one is Alone with God. Right. Yes. Yes, sir. I want Dave Armstrong first of all. Roger, kindly come. No, let him come. Let him. Roger, kindly come. Dave is one student I taught at Harmon. Take the picture for me. I taught at Harmon, who have been on my mind from the day I met him. 2 weeks ago, you remember your aunt's husband died in Canada, and they brought him down and buried him. I sent to tell you hello by your sister. Did she give you? Praise the Lord. So, Dave Armstrong. 14 other people. No, not that one. Those who don't have this.
All right. Those who don't have this, that's the price. I'll go that way.
Right, go. Pip, 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 come. Give those. I'm asking, all that you have to promise me is that you kindly read. Understand? Read, please.
By myself.
Yes, small.
Hey. Okay, we're not.
Look.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, Roger, do this. Ladies and gentlemen, we could listen to some music. Dinner is ready, so we can listen to some wonderful music while you all go to have some dinner by none other than Mr. Roger Ryan. It's dinner time. No, I'll find out what they want to bring for them.
Somebody have to hold the mic for me.